Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial video for Dragon Age Origins. I am Draco Angel and today's how-to video is how to change armor on NPC characters and the PC player. And to start off, when you need to change an armor on an NPC character or your new Warden, you have to edit their UTC files. The UTC files is what holds all the information on what they're wearing, what's in their inventory, and appearances. So I'm going to show you how to find their UTC files and how to edit them. Now, in order to edit their UTC files, I use Dragon Age toolset. There may be other ways of doing this, but this is the simplest way I know how to do it, so I hope it's just as simple for you. I will provide a link to the download for Dragon Age toolset in the information below. So let's get started. Now to start off, you'll need to go into File, Manage Modules, and go to Single Player. Click Single Player and hit Open. Now what being in single player mode allows you to do is to have access to the game's resources, such as the UTC files. Now over here is your palette window. If it's not in the palette window, it's usually in the Object Inspector. So all you have to do is click over to the palette window. Here you see icons for various things. Like if you hover over it, you'll see areas, area list, characters, etc. We want the creatures. What creatures does is it filters all the UTC files, so what you're looking for is easier to find instead of bringing up every single resource with the name you're looking for. Now, if you're looking for a specific NPC, like for instance, we'll use Tegan from Redcliffe. You type Tegan in the search box, and his UTC file will come up wherever he appears in-game to have a separate UTC file. For Tegan, there are 3. You have the Redcliffe Chantry, the Climax, and the Funeral if you or Alistair made the ultimate sacrifice. Now you can choose to either edit all of them, or 1 or 2, it's your choice. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you how to edit the PC default player. For when you come and make your first Warden, and basically what I'm going to show is how you can change their armor when you first make them, what's in their inventory, and what's in their inventory. So for that, you need to go into Core Creatures and the Do Not Touch folder. And here it will have all your default Wardens. Here you have the Dwarf Commoner, the Dwarf Noble, the City Elf, the Dalish Elf, and the Mage. If you can't figure it out which one's which based on the name of the file, they have it in parentheses over here. Now for the Human Noble, you'll see it says male. Just ignore the fact that it says male, because when you go into edit your PC's default, it'll edit it for the male and female both. And the default mage, it'll edit it for male and female and the elf and human. And I am going to show you how to edit the Human Noble Rogue. Now you notice here at the end where it says R, that stands for Rogue, and the W here stands for Warrior. So highlight the one you want to change, right click, open local copy. I'll give it a minute to load in. And there it is. That is what your Noble Rogue will be wearing when you first make a Human Noble Rogue. For some reason in the toolset it comes out looking like an elf. Don't ask me why. I didn't choose that. It's Bioware's decision. We go up to Tools, Export, and Export without dependent resources. Make sure you click on the without dependent resources. Now we're going to go find the file that we just exported. We go into Documents, Bioware, Dragon Age, Packages, Core, Override. You want to scroll through until you find your toolset export folder. That's where anything that you export from the toolset will end up. And there is the Noble Rogue that I just exported. And I'm just going to move that to the desktop for convenience. Minimize that. Now we no longer need this, so you can exit out of that. And then we're going to go back up to File and go down to Manage Modules. Now, if you don't already have a personal module made, you need to make one. And in order to do that, you click on New, and in the name and the UID, type in the name you want your module to be. Like, for instance, your name, your character's name. It doesn't matter. Choose whatever you want. And here's mine, Draco, and hit Open. Now, what this does is a lot of people have said that they've had conflicting issues if they've tried editing a file or making something in the single player mode or the demo mode. So in order to prevent any kind of conflicts or problems, that's why we make a personal module. I'm going to go minimize all this. All right, then we take the UTC file that we just exported and drag and drop it into the toolset. And this is how it will come up. And you scroll all the way down until you see the item list and the equipped item list. The equipped item list is what your character or the NPC will be wearing when you first meet them or when you first create them. The item list is what is in their inventory. NPCs won't have this because they don't have an inventory. So we're going to start off with showing you how to edit what they're wearing. So we go into the equipped item list, and it will vary on how many slots are on the NPC. No NPC is the same. Some will have full armor, some will have weapons, some won't. Some will have helms, some won't. So, like I said, it'll vary. For the human noble, you see that it has 5 slots. Under the value, you see these numbers here, the 6, 4, 7. This is very important. These numbers coincide with a armor slot. So the 6 is for your boots, the 4 is for your chest piece, 7 is for your gloves, 0 is your main hand, and 1 is your offhand. In the weapons, you'll see where it says set number. As you know, when you go into game, when you make your Warden, you have 2 sets of weapons. 0 is for your number 1 set, and if you want to change it into your second set, you just click on the box, hit enter, and that allows you to edit the box and put in 1, and it'll now be moved to your second set. Now, if you just want to get rid of a piece of armor or a weapon completely, like for instance, I wanted to get rid of the offhand weapon, I just click on the entire structure. So I click on the box and hit the delete button, and it's completely gone. Now, if you want to add a slot, you go up to the equipped item list, right click, and insert structure. Now, it's just simpler to go up here to the templates that are already set up, click on it, copy, go down to the new one structure you just made, and click paste. And you do that again for the stealable and droppable. And if it's a set or a weapon, go into the set number, copy, paste. Now, since I'm not going to be doing that, I'll just delete that. Now, let's get to how we change it. Now, you need to know the UTI file name of the armor you want to change your character into. So, for instance, I use a lot of the modder Roguelis's armors. She has mods like RLS Fashion Bazaar, Witcher Emporium, Thetis Arsenal, mods like that. It's all full of armors and weapons. And so that's what I'm going to be using to show how to do this. And for convenience, since I do mods like this for the Nexus, I simply exported all her resources onto my computer so I can have all the names of their UTI files. And it's easy just for me to find what I'm looking for and highlight it, copy and paste the name. So I was just doing that if you have a mod out there that you're going to be using armors from, because like I said, it's just easier instead of having to go hunt it down. So we're going to start off with the boots. Now, when it comes to making your PC character's armor change, make sure you choose an armor that is both usable on a male and female, because as I said at the beginning, this will change for both the male and female. And if you're changing it on your mage, you have to make sure it's viable on male, female, and the human and elf. So we're going to use the vintage gear, because I know that one is both viable on the male and female. So we highlight the name, copy, and we paste the name of that under 6, because that is where the boots go, and hit enter. And we'll go into the 4 for the chest piece, paste, and we'll just come over here, change the boots to armor, go under gloves, paste, take the boots, and change it to gloves. And now we'll save what we've changed so far. And now I want to change the weapons. Now, since we're doing a rogue, rogues can use knives, longsword, or daggers, longswords, bows, let's see, main hand axes, and maces. But since we're doing a rogue, I'm going to do the classic daggers. So I'm going to choose the Angel Slayer's dagger right here. So go in there, copy, paste, go into offhand, paste, and we're going to change that to a B since it has a coinciding B right there. And save. And when it comes to the human noble, I've never cared for the fact that your character's decked out to the nines in armor and weapons when they're going to go talk with their father and Arl Howe. Instead of looking like a regal nobleman, they look like they're about to go to battle. So I'm going to go into the set number, change the 0 to a 1. And that will put it in its second set slot, so they won't be showing in the cutscene at the beginning. Again, this is just a personal preference for me. You don't have to do that. And that is how you change the item, your equipment. Now we're going to go into your inventory. So we'll go up to the item list, Now, as you see, the human noble starts off with 3 things in their inventory, and it's 3 health potions. Now, as I showed you before, we're going to be adding structures in instead of changing it, because we don't want to take away the health potion. So we're just going to be adding to your inventory instead of taking away from it. So click on the box, copy, go up to item list, and paste. And there's your new field. Now, since we're doing a rogue and we did the daggers on the weapons in your equipment, we're going to put a bow in the inventory. So we're going to go and find a bow, just any old bow. We'll use the Arc Fury longbow. I'm going to copy, paste. There you go. We come up here and save. And now that should appear in your inventory when you first go into the game. Now, all you have to do is go into your override folder. I create subfolders because it makes things easier to find later on if need be. So go into my NPC armor changes folder, default PC, human noble rogue. And as you can see, I already have one. But for demonstration, to make sure the changes I made in this one are working, I'll just put that in that folder for the time being and drag and drop this one in. So now it's in your override folder. Now let's go and check to make sure everything's working right. Now, in order to make sure that it worked properly, all depending on what UTC file you edited, will determine where you need to go find the NPC that you just edited. So since I did the PC, just go into new game, and we'll load that in. By the way, when you're editing a UTC file, you need to make sure that you install the edited UTC file before you load in the character you just changed. If you put the edited UTC file in your override folder after the character is already loaded in, they will come up naked, and nobody wants that. So, say for instance, since we're going to the human noble story, you changed the armor on any one of the characters in the noble origins, like Bryce Cousland, Arl House, or Gilmore, etc. You need to make sure that you put in the files before you start the game, because as soon as you start the human noble story, those characters automatically load in. So if you put their edited UTC files after you've already started the game, they will all come out naked. And like I said, nobody wants that. But if you start a character, or if you edited a character that comes up later on in game, such as Tegan, you just have to make sure his file is in your override folder before you get to Redcliffe. So we'll go and we'll choose Race Rogue. And that is the armor that I chose to change them into. And there's the female version. I'll just go with the female because she looks prettier. And we're not going to worry about customization. Go there. We'll just click some stuff. Click some stuff. And I will try to skip through as much of the opening dialogue as possible, so not to spoil anything for people who haven't played the Human Noble Origin. And we'll wait as it's loading. Now, as you can see, I've edited UTC files for the Human Noble Origin story already, because these are obviously not the vanilla armors that Arl Howe and your father start in. let's go check our inventory and our weapons. Got the weapons, and there are the daggers that I changed to. And there is the bow in the inventory that I added in. And that is how you edit a character's UTC file. If you have any questions, please comment below and I will answer to the best of my abilities. And have a nice day.